Tell you a story about when I was a little boy. I was a little boy, and I had the same voice, by the way. I was about 3 or 4, and my mom called me Marky. My mom's probably watching. Love you, Mom. She still calls me Marky. So if you're wondering, when does your mom stop putting a Y on the end of your name? I will just tell you it's sometime after 53. That's the future. So I was a little boy, and I was the oldest of 5 kids, and my mom took me, and she said, Marky, that's the stove. She's like, don't open the oven, it's hot. And whatever you do, don't touch the burners, they're hot. You're gonna hurt yourself. Well, being a little boy, I thought, yeah, that's probably not true. And I need to verify. And if you've got a son, you know what this is. Boys are suicidal. That's just how they are. And so one day, my mom left the kitchen, and I wanted something above the stove, in the cupboard above the stove. So I pushed the chair up to the counter. I climbed on the chair. I climbed on the counter. I walked over. I'm standing on the stove. I'm trying to get something, probably cookies, out of the overhead shelves, and my foot was burning. It hurt like crazy. And I'm a little boy. And I realized my mom's not a false prophetess. This is hot. And so I pulled my foot up. I was like, oh my goodness. So I climbed down real quick, trying not to get hot. But my foot it's burned, it's swelling, it's red, it hurts like crazy. And my mom walks in and she can tell something's wrong. She's like, Marky, what's wrong? I was like, nothing. She's like, no, what happened? I'm like, everything's great. She's like, did you hurt your foot? I was like, yeah. She looks at my foot, it's red, it's swollen, it's burned. She's like, did you stand on the stove? I can't lie, I'm literally caught red-footed. Like I'm caught. I was like, yeah, I did. She's like, I told you. I was like, yeah, I know, Mom, and you were right. Okay? Here's what I'm happy to report. I've never stood on a stove ever since. I have 50 years of unblemished stove standing avoidance, and I have no plans to stand on a stove anytime in the future. And the point is this, sometimes a little bit of pain actually can help you avoid a lot of pain. And a lot of times in life, we try to avoid pain, but a little pain could be actually a way of training us to avoid a lot more pain. And so ever since that day, I have not stood on a stove. Just to be safe, I don't even cook. I just, just be safe. And so here's the big idea. Right now in your life, right now in my life, we've got pain. But what if that pain is actually something that God is allowing to teach us, to inform us, to prepare us, to help us to avoid greater pain in the future? And that's the big idea that I want to deal with today as we look at the book of Joel. They were facing a national reckoning. They had been rebelling against God for a very long time. And suddenly there was a reckoning. A reckoning is a consequence. God says, my patience is worn out, you're not paying attention, things are not improving, therefore I'm going to allow some pain to come to you to get your attention, to keep you from continuing in this direction and causing yourself more pain. And so it came in their day in the form of locusts invading their country, destroying their economy. And so as we think about the pain that they're experiencing, you need to understand as well, we're in the middle of our own national reckoning. Economically, there's a reckoning. Politically, there's a reckoning. Culturally, morally, spiritually, and socially, there's a reckoning. This is a time when God is allowing some pain. And as God's children, we have the ability to open God's word and to ask, what is the purpose of the pain? And how can the pain be used to prepare me to avoid worse and greater pain in the future? That brings me to Joel chapter 2. And there's going to be 2 big ideas. Here's the first one. Unrepentance unlocks reckoning. We'll just read it. Joel chapter 2, 1 through 11. Blow a trumpet in Zion. Sound an alarm on my holy mountain. It's a warning, urgency, sense of crisis looming. Their mood is the same as ours. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord is coming. The day of the Lord is the theme of Joel. It is near, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and thick darkness. It sounds like November, doesn't it? Like blackness, there is spread upon the mountains a great and powerful people, like there has never been before, nor will be again after them through the years of all generations. Fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burns. The land is like the Garden of Eden before them, but behind them a desolate wilderness, and nothing escapes them. Their appearance is like the appearance of horses, and like war horses they run. As with the rumbling of chariots, they leave the tops of the mountains like the crackling of a flame of fire, devouring the stubble like a powerful army drawn for battle before them. Peoples are in anguish. All faces grow pale. This is a time of great anxiety. Like warriors, they charge. Like soldiers, they scale the wall. They march each on his way. They do not swerve from their paths. They do not jostle one another. Each marches in his path. They burst through the weapons and are not halted. They leap upon the city. They run upon the walls. They climb up into the houses. They enter through the windows like a thief. The earth quakes before them. The heavens tremble. The sun and moon are darkened. This is a brutal season. And the stars withdraw their shining. The Lord utters his voice before his army, for his camp is exceedingly great. They picked a fight with God. He who executes his word is powerful. For the day of the Lord, there's the theme again, is great and very awesome. Who can endure it? Thanks for joining me. My name is Pastor Mark. I've been teaching the Bible for more than 3 decades and head on constant collisions with woke culture. And I would love to get you more Bible teaching. 2 things you can do. Go ahead and watch the sermon in total and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll just keep sending you Bible teaching and we'll have a lot more fun together.